ball screw is a linear motion component. The ball screw consists of 5 parts, including nut, steel balls, screw, circulation part, and dust-proof part. Nut. Its circulation components are mainly used to guide the steel ball to make the nut and the shaft move relatively. Screw. Ball. Through the circulation component, steel ball will move infinitely inside the nut. Dust-proof part can prevent foreign materials such as machining chips and dust from entering into the nut, which will affect the service life of ball screw. Ball screw is the most important linear motion component in the precision machinery industry. Linear actuation is a linear motion pusher, also known as an electric cylinder. The linear actuator is mainly composed of a screw nut, a gearbox, and a DC motor. When the DC motor rotates, the rotational kinetic energy is transmitted to the screw and the nut through the gearbox. Through the linear drive mechanism screw and nut, the inner tube of the actuator will extend to form a linear motion. To retract the inner tube, only the direction of the rotation of the DC motor needs to be changed. The linear motor is composed of a mover and a stator. The moving part is called a mover, and the fixed part is a stator. Why is it called a linear motor? It is because the motor moves in a linear motion, also known as linear motor. The forcer is composed of the housing, cable, epoxy. Internal structure is composed of coil. The stator is composed of magnet and base. Through the induction of electrical energy and magnetic energy to generate kinetic energy, kinetic energy is generated to drive the motor to move. Linear actuation is a linear motion pusher, also known as an electric cylinder. The linear actuator is mainly composed of a screw nut, a gearbox, and a DC motor. When the DC motor rotates, the rotational kinetic energy is transmitted to the screw and the nut through the gearbox. Through the linear drive mechanism screw and nut, the inner tube of the actuator will extend to form a linear motion. To retract the inner tube, only the direction of the rotation of the DC motor needs to be changed. CIGS E-Power Tile stands out from conventional modules for its perfect integration to the roof, bringing high value to buildings. Sunrise, noon, sunset, cloudy day. CIGS E-Power Tile stands out for its superior performance in both low light and high temperature conditions. It generates power 5 to 10% more than crystalline silicon does. Wind, snow. Mechanical properties meet the stringent requirements of the construction industry, which makes CIGS E-Power Tile the perfect choice in most regions and climates. CIGS E-Power Tile complies with the EU RoHS, offering zero cadmium and lead cells. It provides you with a more friendly and healthier environment. The Torker Robot Reducer consists of 3 parts: wave generator, circular spline, flex spine. Wave generator with an elliptical geometric feature. It makes the flex spline engaging with the circular spline. usually used as a deceleration input. Flex spline, thin and elastic metal, with external teeth on the outside sphere. Continuous elastic deformation during operation, usually used as a deceleration output. Circular spline, the rigid circular part with teeth on the inner bore side. And there are 2 teeth more than the external teeth of flex spline. It is usually used as a deceleration of fix end. Wave generator with an elliptical geometric feature. After wave generator is being assembled on the flex spline, it will be pushed up by the outer periphery of the wave generator and become elliptical. The long axis direction of the ellipse shape is the gear joint of circular spline and flex spline. When the wave generator is driven by the power and starts to rotate, the gear joint portion of the flex spline and the circular spline begin to engage. Each time the wave generator rotates half clockwise, the flex spline rotates counterclockwise by 1 tooth difference relative to the circular spline. Each time the wave generator rotates clockwise relative to the original position of the circular spline, the flex spline will have a position difference of 2 teeth in the counterclockwise direction and achieve the deceleration effect. It is an essential component for the development of intelligent manufacturing. The characteristics of multiple degrees of freedom and high flexibility. Key components are developed by HIWIN technology, including Prost roller bearings, the Torker robot reducer, AC Servo Motors, ball spline, as well as others. Application areas include loading and unloading, packaging, alignment, assembly, dispensing, stacking and inspection, which can quickly integrate peripheral control units, suitable for various industries, and a good partner for automated factories. The articulated robot has the characteristics of multiple degrees of freedom and high flexibility. Key components are developed by HIWIN technology, including crossed roller bearings, the Torker robot reducer, AC Servo Motors, among others. HIWIN robot has friendly human-machine interface, digital switch, real-time motion simulation, and modular programming steps. With touchscreen, this will be more intuitive and easy to operate. There are limit speed switch, safe multi-brake switches, and emergency stop devices to protect the safety of the operator. Application areas include loading and unloading, packaging, alignment, assembly, deburring, polishing, dispensing, stacking, and testing. It is suitable for various industries and is a good partner for automated factories. Human daily necessities are gradually becoming miniaturized, intelligent, and technological, part of which comes from the semiconductor industry, and the wafer robot plays an indispensable role. It has the characteristics of small space and large utilization, high stability. Design and material selection are in line with the specifications of high cleanroom requirement. All key components are developed and manufactured by HIWIN technology, including ball screw, Guideway, crossed roller bearings, direct drive motors, AC Servo Motors, as well as others. Provide a human-machine interface to operate in an intuitive and simple way. Use the shape to replace a large number of text messages, allowing users to easily set up the operation. Wafer robot can be applied to LED, IC, solar, panel, and semiconductor process industries. HIWIN Delta robot adopts a parallel link mechanism, which has a large working range and high-speed capability. The key components are developed by HIWIN technology, including cross-roller bearings, the Torquer robot reducer, and AC Servo Motors, among others. HIWIN robot has friendly human-machine interface, digital switch, real-time motion simulation, and modular programming steps. With touchscreen, this will be more intuitive and easy to operate. There are limit speed switch, safe multi-brake switches, and emergency stop devices to protect the safety of the operator. Application fields include loading and unloading, packaging, alignment, assembly, stacking and testing, which are suitable for various industries. Combined with the intelligent image recognition system and dynamic tracking system, it can detect all kinds of workpieces and transmit the position to the robot for dynamic positioning and grabbing, realizing automated production line applications. Ball screw, sensor module, and extension cable. Edge computing module. The intelligent 4.0 ball screw consists of 3 parts, including ball screw, sensor module, and edge computing module. Ball screw combines with hybrid sensor and professional algorithm. Through the sensors and algorithms, it can effectively monitor ball screw performance by receiving the data of temperature rise and vibration of the ball screw via mobile phone or PLC to maintain the processing quality and efficiency. With automatic and safe lubrication, this can avoid machine downtime due to shortage of oil. Frequency conversion lubrication can save the use of lubricating oil and achieve economic and environmental protection. Online pre-diagnosis is used to understand the health status of the ball screw, which is helpful for maintenance sequencing and avoiding emergency shutdown. The diagnosis history of the ball screw's preload status can help to do maintenance alert, inventory management, and maintenance scheduling of the ball screw. It helps to keep high productivity, stabilize product quality, save lubricant with cost benefit, and environmentally friendly. The most important thing is that with preventive planning maintenance is scheduled, it can keep the machine in optimum production and avoid unexpected machine shutdown. HIWIN torque motor rotary table is categorized into single axis and double axis. Single axis type includes vertical type and horizontal type. Double axis includes dual arm and single arm. HIWIN torque motor rotary table, which includes table, bearing, rotary joint, torque motor, and encoder are self-developed by HIWIN. HIWIN torque motor rotary table is powered by torque motor, and the clamp system is active by clamp disc. The rotary table bearing offers great rigidity and accuracy while the table is rotating. With thermoforming composite materials, the deformation performs almost as metal casting. Zero backlash allows the rotary table to easily meet the requirements of high-precision control during acceleration, deceleration, and reverse rotation. By adopting the carbon fiber composite materials in HIWIN torque motor rotary table. To reduce weight and the performance can achieve high precision, zero backlash, energy efficiency, and eco-friendly. With thermoforming composite materials, the deformation performs almost as metal casting. The lightweight design can shorten the working cycle, as well as increase the productivity. HIWIN torque motor rotary table can be applied in machinery, automotive, medical, and electronic industries. Linear actuation is a linear motion pusher, also known as an electric cylinder. The linear actuator is mainly composed of a screw nut, a gearbox, and a DC motor. When the DC motor rotates, the rotational kinetic energy is transmitted to the screw and the nut through the gearbox. Through the linear drive mechanism screw and nut, the inner tube of the actuator will extend to form a linear motion. To retract the inner tube, only the direction of the rotation of the DC motor needs to be changed. Linear guideway is a mechanical component that carries an object for linear motion. Linear guideway consists of three basic systems: steel part, recirculation system, dust-proof system. Steel part consists of block, rolling element, and rail. The block moves along the rail linearity through rolling element and rail by combining recirculation system. Rolling element recirculates between block. The dust-proof system covers the gaps between the block and the rail, which provide protection from high temperature, chips, and particles. HIWIN guideway signature is green and red. Ball spline is a rolling guide element, mainly composed of nuts, steel balls, and retainer. By the steel ball between the nut, the rolling of the infinite cycles allows the nut to move linearly along the spline shaft with high precision. The balls rolling along on the groove with the angular contact angle offer the relative movement between the nut and the shaft. In order to achieve the function of the torque transmission. The ball spline nut combined with the ball screw nut and the outer bearing can integrate three modes of operation: linear, rotary, and spiral on one axis. The ball spline can be input with a motor power to perform linear motion. The ball spline can be input with two motors power to perform rotational motion. The ball spline can be input with a motor power to perform spiral motion. Ball splines are widely used in the robots and automation industries to perform high-speed, acceleration and deceleration linear motion on the production line. The torque motor is a combination of a rotor and a stator. The rotating part is called a rotor, and the fixed part is called a stator. It is a rotating motion motor. The rotor is composed of a rotor seat and a magnet. The stator is a combination of a coil and a stator casing, and is fixed by an epoxy. Through the induction of electrical energy and magnetic energy, kinetic energy is generated to drive the motor to rotate. Crossed roller bearings are suitable for high loading and space-saving applications. The bearing components are made up of an inner ring, rollers, spacers, and an outer ring. Crossed roller bearings have features of high rigidity and great loading capacity, which are performed by linear contact of rollers. The cross arrangement of the rollers makes it more compact and can bear loadings from multiple directions. By the features of high accuracy and great loading capacity, cross roller bearing is an irreplaceable product of the machine tool industry. The Ac Servo Motor is a rotary motor composed of a rotor combination, a stator combination, and an encoder combination. The encoder can read the rotational position information to achieve motor control. Through the induction of electrical energy and magnetic energy, kinetic energy is generated to drive the motor to rotate. The rotor combination is a combination of a rotor and a magnet, and the motor shaft can drive the mechanism to rotate. The stator is a combination of a coil and a stator casing, and is fixed by an epoxy. The encoder can output the position information of the motor rotation to the drive, and then perform various motor control. Electric power steering system. When a driver steers, the torque sensor will detect the torque applied to the steering column and inform the electronic control unit. Based on the steering torque and vehicle speed, the ECU will generate corresponding current to control the torque output of the motor. The ball screw will transform the motor torque into axial force in order to change the direction of the front wheels so that the driver can steer easily. Due to assistance strategies, EPS can provide proper steering feel under different driving scenarios. Swift at low speed, steady at high speed. EPS supports advanced driver assistance systems. With the function of active steering, hazards according to ADAS's commands, EPS can turn the steering wheel to avoid potential danger. Due to the prosperity of autonomous vehicle technologies, in the near future, the active steering of EPS will not only be used in emergency, but also widely used in ADASs, becoming an inevitable part for our daily life. autonomous vehicles will lead humans to a more comfortable, convenient, and intelligent society in the future.